Every year, Russia rolls out its most intimidating military hardware through Red Square. Tanks gleaming, missiles towering, soldiers marching in perfect formation. It looks unstoppable. But here's the thing nobody talks about. That parade ground power completely falls apart the moment real bullets start flying. And the war in Ukraine has exposed the brutal truth about why Russia's military is all show and no substance, especially when you compare it to how America actually fights wars. Let's start with the most embarrassing moment of the entire Ukraine invasion. February 2022. Russia sends a 40-mile-long convoy toward Kyiv. 40 miles of tanks, trucks, and artillery. Western analysts are terrified. This is it, they think. Kyiv falls in days. Except the convoy just stops. Trucks break down. Tires literally shred apart. Soldiers run out of food. Officers had sold off fuel and supplies for personal profit. The whole thing becomes a sitting duck for Ukrainian strikes. That convoy wasn't defeated by superior firepower. It was defeated by corruption and incompetence. Now contrast that with how America invaded Iraq in 2003. The U.S. military moved over 300 miles in 3 weeks, toppled an entire government, and maintained supply lines the entire time. Why? Because for every American combat soldier, there are 10 support soldiers handling logistics. America doesn't just have better weapons. It has the unglamorous backbone that actually wins wars. Fuel trucks that work, food that arrives on time, ammunition that doesn't get stolen by corrupt officers. Here's what Russia's parade doesn't show you. The T-14 Armata tank, their supposed game-changer that debuted in 2015, has barely seen combat in Ukraine because they can't produce enough of them. Meanwhile, their older T-72 tanks are getting obliterated by American-supplied Javelin missiles. Russia showcased hypersonic Kinzhal missiles at their 2018 parade. And yes, they've used a dozen in Ukraine. Sounds impressive until you realize they're more propaganda than tactical advantage. America's military doesn't need to parade experimental weapons because its proven systems actually work in the field. The real killer is training. Russian conscripts serve 1 year, often spending that time doing construction work for officers' personal projects instead of actual combat training. There's no professional NCO corps, no decentralized decision-making. Everything flows from the top down, which means when a plan falls apart, Russian units can't adapt. American soldiers train for years in realistic combat scenarios with cross-unit exercises. They're taught to think, adapt, and make decisions on the ground. Russian soldiers are taught to follow orders and hope their superiors aren't idiots or thieves. And let's talk about the corruption that's rotting Russia's military from the inside. Estimates suggest up to 40% of Russia's defense budget just disappears into the pockets of oligarchs and corrupt officials. Soldiers are fed rotting food by contractors. Equipment that's supposed to be in warehouses was sold off years ago. Body armor that should protect troops is substandard because someone pocketed the difference. Even Russia's deputy defense minister was arrested in 2024 for taking massive bribes. You can't build a functional military when everyone from the top down is stealing. Meanwhile, American military doctrine is built on something called air-land battle, perfected in Desert Storm. An F-35 spots a target, relays coordinates to a HIMARS system or Navy destroyer, and the target is gone before the enemy even knows what happened. It's synchronized, it's lethal, and it requires trust, technology, and training that Russia simply doesn't have. Russian forces still rely heavily on rail networks for supplies, making them predictable targets. They use unguided artillery that requires massive ammunition stockpiles, which means more logistics vulnerabilities. The numbers tell the story. Russia has lost over 750,000 soldiers killed or wounded in Ukraine. Their vaunted military, ranked number 2 in the world before the invasion, has been exposed as a paper tiger. They can't achieve air superiority. They can't conduct combined arms operations effectively. They're throwing waves of poorly trained conscripts into meat grinder assaults that would make World War I generals blush. Here's the bottom line. Russia's military looks powerful when it's marching through Moscow with fresh paint and choreographed precision. But war isn't a parade. War is logistics, training, adaptability, and trust. It's making sure your soldiers have food, fuel, and ammunition when they need it. It's empowering junior leaders to make decisions. It's having equipment that actually works because nobody stole the parts. America's military isn't perfect, but it's built on a foundation that prioritizes function over spectacle. Russia built a military designed to look intimidating at parades and on state television. And when the shooting started, the whole facade crumbled. So next time you see those red square parades, remember, those tanks might shine under the Moscow sun, but in the mud and chaos of actual combat, they're just expensive coffins driven by undertrained soldiers betrayed by their own corrupt system. That's the difference between a military built for show and one built to win.